Sagittarius, hey, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at your energy via the tarot astrology, any channeled messages that come through, and I'll incorporate some Ayurvedic or holistic wellness aspects that we can really help enliven our optimal potential and help support those places that can be a little bit more challenging. So let's get into it. I hope that you are doing well this week. We have, since we last talked, I should say, it's been a few weeks, but we have moved into Cancer season. We have a lot of planets going into retrograde right now. Mercury just went into retrograde. Pluto's in retrograde. Neptune's going to go into retrograde. And then at the end of the month, Saturn's going to go into retrograde. So lots of retrogrades, mainly the outer planets. The outer planets deal with our spiritual growth and evolution, how we're interpreting the things, the experiences that we're going through in our 3D life, so to speak, and what we're doing about those experiences to help us grow, to be better versions of ourselves, to actually align more with the desires of our heart, right? When we're in alignment of self, that's actually where we can manifest and feel happy and feel fulfilled. And we're all deserved of that, right? We all actually have the opportunity to bring those things into our life the more that we align. And what does alignment look like? In my opinion, it's a lot about self-love, self-care, right? When we love ourselves, we're not going to treat ourselves badly, and we're not going to let other people treat us badly as well, right? And maybe there are aspects of your life where you've let people, situations kind of get the best of you. And I'm even hearing maybe to the detriment of other things in your life that were actually good. Sometimes we let the wrong voices speak too loud in our minds. And maybe there might be elements of things that we know aren't exactly how we want it to be, or we don't vibe with it, or whatever it may be. But sometimes really beautiful things can manifest, or actually most of the times beautiful things manifest from those unexpected places, from those relationships and dynamics, which actually do end up supporting us in a surprising way. And that's why it's so important to stay open to what's around us, what's in our environment. Yes, judging people is like a natural thing we do in life. Whether we're aware of it or not, whether we want to claim that we do it or not, I think we all do it, right? We all do it to it's like sizing up, and it's not in a negative way. It's a very animalistic, it's very primitive in the way that you have to know whether you're safe or not. And we as beings, part of the animal community to whatever capacity, we have those certain innate instincts. And I feel like sometimes those things can get us into trouble. I feel like you maybe have been dealing with a situation lately where you're having to make peace around certain things. This could be a person, a dynamic that really infiltrated in a way that just felt inauthentic to you. And it does feel like you're coming out of that. I think that you're also embarrassed is what I'm hearing, or ashamed, or maybe you're just carrying around some guilt for some of the stuff that's happened and not really knowing what to do with it all. That's a better way to say it, because you're such an energy of expansion, growth, leveling up, right? Always kind of on to the next best thing. And I think sometimes with Sagittarius energy, it's hard to understand when people don't do things that way, when they do get stuck too long in certain things or whatever it may be, right? So it feels like some of the stuff that's coming in for you is actually challenging you. It's helping you to be a little bit more honest with self, honest around places where you can be more patient. That's definitely been a theme in the astrology lately. And we're still even seeing that with the Mars energy in the astrology as well. Mars just moved into Gemini, so it's bringing more options, choices, freedom, but there still is a tempering of force. And Mars is like not having it. There's a lot of annoyance and frustration underneath the surface. But those annoyances and frustrations are why I like to start the readings off with an energy cleansing, just to set the tone, set the vibe for the reading. Cleanse out those places we might feel blocked or limited. It's a really good time to set your own intention for the reading as well, especially if you have come into, certain situations that you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It's a really great way to personalize these collective readings. I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it fares, where it's headed, or if you are looking for more of that realignment of self, your mind, your body, your soul, I do pranic energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. Because when we are aligned in self, like I was talking about, that's really where we can find our happiness and fulfillment. And I would love to help support that for you in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up, Sagittarius. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. I'm currently working on my website. It will hopefully be up and running at some point this summer. But until then, you can totally email me. It's legit, I promise. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. So I am hearing, Sagittarius, that like you are in the process of clearing out. I feel like whatever you have gone through recently, it feels like you're just ready and willing to be over and done with something. Like you've had your enough, you've had your fill, you've had more than your fill. And there is a little bit of resentment that I'm picking up around something or someone. And you know, we'll see. Okay, I like this. The matchbox as your first card coming out, the matchbook, excuse me, the fire starter. I'm hearing that it's good inspiration that's coming your way. It's inspiration I feel like that probably has needed to already have happened, perhaps even previously. But I also think it kind of did come a little bit out of left field. Like it feels like you were content with something until you weren't, right? Until something pops up and you're just like, no. And I feel like as you're seeing this thing, it's also highlighting places in the past. I don't think you've turned a blind eye specifically, but it always feels like things have sorted itself out one way or another. And now I feel like you have, with the clarity of vision, it's all about how you are rewriting your boundaries, what boundaries you're going to set, how much rope you're going to actually give someone. And this might even be someone that you were once dependent on for energy or sustenance or stability to some capacity. But whatever has transpired, you're diversifying. Like it feels like you're creating more space and autonomy for yourself, becoming more self-reliant. Or for some of you, it's very much just like, I'm done with this and now I have to self-sustain. You might not even be wanting to deal with someone or something anymore. That's that resentment or like a distaste I'm picking up in my mouth. Because I think you have your eye on better things that will actually honor you. Like it is a little bit hopeful. It is a little magical. It is about wishing on a shooting star, but it's also like the understanding that stuff can happen in life. And I think you are one of the most fortunate signs just because you rule Jupiter, or Jupiter rules you, which is the planet of abundance. And it's like money and wealth and luxury and like the finer things in life. It's not just about like how you make your money. That's Capricorn energy, which is Saturn, which is all about forcing you to work, right? But you're all about like, I know that I can make something really magical happen, and you go after it and you end up doing it because life can be pretty magical. Yes, we don't always get, our manifestation from the sources that we think it's going to come through, but what ends up coming can be, or is often very magical, right? Unless we're keeping ourselves stuck and limited. And I think that that's kind of where some of the challenge has been coming out in the astrology lately, i.e. why all these retrogrades are popping up. I don't know if I talked about this, but Mars has been, I did not in this reading yet, so forgive me if I'm being redundant, but Mars did just move into Gemini, which I did say, I remember that. And so it is, beforehand, Mars was in Taurus, and so it was just like this energy of like, working with what you have in front of you. New channels, new avenues aren't necessarily popping up, or they might not be the right fit. They might just be stepping stones for a period of time. And it feels like now there's this realization, okay, Mars moves into Gemini and it's in conjunction with Uranus this week. It's this realization that like, okay, if I do actually want to make this magic happen, then I can't go back, or I do have to rewrite how I'm doing things, how I'm showing up. And maybe that's appropriate of not letting something back in. I feel like you're thinking, I don't see any action around that. I feel like there's a lot of deliberation this week on what that would actually look like for you. And someone is walking cautiously, 7 of Wands. I feel like this is someone who's like making sure, I don't know, this feels like they know what they did, or maybe they know how they bothered you or provoked you, or like what they did feels like they took it a little bit too far. But for you, it's a blessing in disguise, because I do think it's getting you the change that not only you want, but I think that you need. I feel like it's a time for change. I feel like you know that change is happening. We're seeing this a lot in the readings this week, in the collective in general. We did just come off of a full moon in Capricorn, which again is highlighting places where we might be too stubborn, too rigid, holding on, attaching to something that really isn't for our benefit. But it does look like someone doesn't want you to give up on them. They aren't really learning the lesson, or it's taking them a really long time to get there. And I think they do a really good job at kind of, when something happens, they're good at either like cleaning up their mess, righting their wrongs, speaking to you in a way that makes sense and you understand, or you let them back in, or right, you just kind of want to move on, business as usual. But 4 of Swords is in your blocked energy. I feel like this is all about taking a beat, resting, meditating, thinking things through. I feel like it's not only like, I think it looks like on some level you haven't really been doing this, but now you're being forced to do it. So it feels a little like, I don't know, it's not a fun process. It's not like a fun rest and relaxation, because there is a lot of deliberation behind it. And it's in this way where, again, like I feel like something just pushed you enough to go over the edge, or you can no longer come back from it. It's just over and done with it. Like someone's just taking too effing long to learn, to get it together. That's how it feels. And I feel like they are really reliant on you. They're reliant on you. They do provide something that this feels like a lot of back and forth though. But again, it goes back to where they're saving their ass. Excuse me. I hope that's okay. It sounds better than butt though. It's like they're saving themselves with how they end up cleaning up the situation. I think you're making choices that are different this time around though. 6 of Swords. You're ready to move forward. You're ready to be done and over with a situation that feels like it has little to no progress. You know something better is out there. And you know that there's more than enough to go around. That's what abundance manifestation is all about. It's recognizing that like everyone can get a piece of the pie. And most of us are living under that lack mentality. There's not enough, or I can't have, or Spirit's not going to deliver me this thing if I want it. When in reality, Sagittarian energy is so good at manifestation, because you know that there is something better than what you're currently dealing with, especially at the rate that something is moving. And it feels, like I said, it feels more annoying now than anything else. But you also recognize that you're in control of your destiny. Again, not to be cheesy, but in that way that you can control how things are moving forward. All right, so let's just clarify. I think this is a pretty clear message, but I just want to clarify this Temperance and this Judgment. Someone's not taking the news very well. Like I said, I don't see you cutting this off specifically. I see you thinking about what changes you are going to make. I do see you making some proactive choices around those changes, things that are feeling very beneficial to you. I don't know, but maybe I think you might be feeling like you're being a little bit sneaky. Yeah. Someone might find you out. I don't know. Be mindful. I'm not about like hiding and manipulating and doing things to hurt people. That's not what I'm about here. But I do think sometimes we have to act with discretion. We can't tell people what we're doing, or if we're posting online, we might need to mute some people from seeing it, or whatever it may be, right? Because it's like someone's getting very upset. Like I feel like they feel like this person thinks that they're making the situation better, pulling things back into order. They messed up, but it's okay. It's, Sagittarius will be fine. They always are, blah, blah, blah. And you're kind of not in that mindset. You're like, I don't know about this anymore. This doesn't feel like it's what I should have to keep dealing with over and over and over again. And it does look like it's putting you into a position where you're looking at other options. And I think that it's like you're excited to do this. Yes, it comes with a lot. There's a lot of weight attached to it, but it feels like a new adventure is maybe a good way to say it. And be mindful, because I'm going to clarify this temperance. Be mindful, because if you are doing things publicly, again, there needs to be some type of discretion. Temperance is, well, it's also Sagittarian energy. It might be, I keep hearing like someone might see something you're doing, or like look through a piece of mail, or Knight of Cups, hear through the grapevine. So be mindful of who and what you're telling, who and what you divulge what to. They might be taking it a little bit personally, even if nothing's really being done. Yeah, but they kind of know. They kind of know. And it might make them a little bit emotional. Whether or not this comes out in conversation, it may or may not, depending on who and what you're dealing with. Because I could see this like not coming out in conversation and someone being very passive aggressive, like trying to get back at you in other ways. I can also see this coming out in conversation and someone giving themselves a lot more credit than what is due. And then it ends up having a difficult conversation. But with this temperance energy, again, this is someone who can speak to you, to the way you think, the way you feel, the way you understand things, and make things seem really rational and like they make sense. I don't know if that's the best for you, though, because I think things are coming out of it that, like I said, they could loop you back into. And this is where, or it might make you feel like they might be doing something that it's almost like you feel bad for going behind their back, or you feel bad for looking at other options. Again, and I'm not talking about doing something shady to someone. I believe that we just treat people with love and respect. That's what me and my son's mantra is. Love and respect, because it's, it gets messy otherwise. I don't see you treating someone messily. I feel like you're trying to honor your heart. Obviously, this person or situation is misinterpreting that, because it's a result of their actions. It's a result of what they have been choosing. Find your calm. Yeah, so finding ways to remain balanced, or maybe you're like shooting yourself in the foot, Sagittarius. I wouldn't be surprised with that either, especially if they trigger you, especially if they're able to kind of like it, because this is a little bit of a poor me vibe, right? That victim mentality. Well, if you only knew what I was dealing with or struggling with, and you can be empathetic to that, but I feel like you have been empathetic to that over and over and over again. And I think it's at a point where it could maybe tip the scales in a certain direction. That's where this finding your calm is really important. I feel like your power lies in keeping things to yourself right now, or moving in a very discreet way. Like I was saying, elevate your mind. Not everyone has to know all your business, even if it is someone that you're used to like telling your daily to-dos about. I almost feel like it's as you're moving through this, and as you're it's more about as you're getting comfortable with the decision that you're going to be making moving forward, don't disclose to anyone, really. I mean, unless they're like very removed from whomever, whatever this is that you're dealing with, it feels like it's not even worth it to test those waters. And doing your best to uplift each other, right? I think that can be really hard when we're dealing with situations where we feel taken for granted or taken advantage of, or, it's hard not to sit and then focus on all the ways that is happening. I think it's important to be aware of that stuff. I think it's important to acknowledge that to yourself, but then leave it behind, right? Then it can move into this thing of like putting your energy, your focus into what you can actually gain out of this experience. And maybe it's pumping you up a little bit. That makes sense. It's fire energy. We're about to move into Leo season. The summer, it's hot. Everyone's all like wild, In Ayurveda, it's all the pitta. And pitta is all about digestion and transformation. It's how we are interpreting what's happening and how we transform that into like both usable and waste product, right? The way that we release what we don't need, but actually kind of hone into the things that help us maintain, that help us grow, that help us thrive. And it feels like a dynamic has hit a point where maybe that's just not happening anymore. and you're reassessing. And I think you already know the answer. It's just, how is this all going to evolve from here moving forward? So we'll check in next week. I hope this helps, Sagittarius. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I love to hear, or just say, hey, share in a little love, a little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. Know it blesses my heart. I hope that you feel blessed as well. And know that I'm sending love and blessings your way always.